Hello, I'm Adam Barralet of Crystal Connections, and today, I'm sorry I might be the bearer of bad news. I'm sure you've heard of Mercury retrograde, but guess what? Not only Mercury goes retrograde, but all the planets do. Now this is a time when it looks like the planet slams on the brakes and starts going backwards in the sky. It's not doing that, it's just the difference between the position of that planet, the Earth, and the Sun. But what our ancestors have found by observing the movement of the planets and the dance of them throughout the universe, throughout the time, is that when a planet looks like it's going retrograde, when it goes in that backwards motion, that whatever that planet governs, it is taken away. It's almost as though the parent is going, "You're on your own, sunshine." Now, at the end of April, Saturn is going into retrograde. Now, what does Saturn govern? Saturn sometimes gets a bit of a bad rap, where it's seen to be about discipline and restriction and all these types of things. But what Saturn actually governs is it wants you to be focused and devoted on what's important to you. It clears away distractions. So what happens when Saturn goes into retrograde is there is this kind of, it shows where you have lack of discipline in your life. You may also find people around you start to rebel against discipline, and it's normally because they aren't disciplining themselves, and so they don't like the discipline coming from other people as well. So it can get a little bit of a messy time. You may also find during Saturn retrograde that what's going to happen is past lessons are going to keep coming up and testing you one more time. It can be a bit of a history repeating type of time. And this is basically Saturn testing you and going, let's see if you've finally learnt the lessons. If you can apply what you've learnt from the past here during a Saturn retrograde, it is quite possible that in the future going forward, this history will stop repeating itself. Now, of course, we have these beautiful gifts from our Mother Earth that can help us during these times. And the beautiful crystals that I love to work with when Saturn goes into retrograde. I love to work with our deep blue and our indigo crystals. So looking at crystals such as sodalite and lapis lazuli, and one of my favorites is petersite. So these crystals help with the third eye chakra, and a lot of the time we associate the third eye chakra with intuition or psychic abilities. But this is to do with understanding. It's about using our intuitive abilities, but also our intellectual abilities and combining those two together. By working with different deep blue crystals during Saturn retrograde, it allows you to comprehend the lessons that you need to learn. It allows you to find out what's important to you and also to be disciplined and devoted to that. If you can learn to do that while Saturn is in retrograde, when it goes direct, you'll find that success will just fly a lot easier for you. So during Saturn retrograde or any other retrograde, we can either throw our hands up in the air and go, oh, it's all too hard, there's a retrograde, or we can take the lessons from this time, use our crystals, and actually learn how to thrive and evolve. So this is an exciting time with Saturn coming into retrograde, and I hope you've got your crystals ready to get that work done as it starts to shift and bring in those lessons.